Hello, my peeps. So what I'm doing here today is I'm going to unbox, open. You can still very shiny. The Man on the Run soundtrack on New York Taxi yellow vinyl. And this is exclusively from Third Man Records. And that's Jack White's kind of record company where they manufacture all sorts of neat stuff. But I was really fortunate because I woke up when this this was available. Only like 3,000 copies are available. And I woke up and I looked at my phone and I saw the notification of it. And I thought, oh, wow, I need to get this. So I ordered it, and then like within 15 minutes it was sold out. So I must have just woke up, ordered it all at the right time. So here you have it. I'm opening it as we speak. Okay. So here's the insert, here. Very nice. I love vinyl. Vinyl's just, I don't know. It's exciting because everything's so big. Anyway, and then this came in with it. This nice poster. That really is pretty cool. Along with this. And that. But now for the unveiling of the New York Taxi Yellow. I haven't seen it yet. Oh, look at that. That is really, really cool. It is. By God, it is New York Taxi Yellow. So, with that, I will give my thoughts and review of Man on the Run. I did see it. I enjoyed it. I thought it was, it was a great documentary. I will tell you that I thought it was a bit long. I don't know. I wasn't bored because there was a lot of good stuff, a lot of good information, but it seemed, could have been cut back a little bit. But also, one of my big, if there's going to be a complaint about it, is that all the the talk by former Wings members and other people, it was just their voices. They weren't on film. And I would have liked to have seen them on film. I don't know. I just thought, so, but, that's a very small complaint. There's a documentary, that came out about 20 years ago called Wingspan, and jeepers, I have it here somewhere, but nonetheless, I think that was better. Oh, here it is. And I think the documentary was better, and the soundtrack was better. I am disappointed with the choice of songs. I thought they were a little stingy with the amount of songs. I think they limited it to 12. And, on a CD, you could get, probably 6 or 7 more. but not on a single LP. And I think that's what they were trying to do, is just keep it down to a single LP. But on the CD, you could have had bonus tracks, because there was a lot of music that was played in the documentary that isn't on the soundtrack album. So I think they could have been a bit more generous. And like I said, with Wingspan, it was a 2 CD set, 2 album set. And I think they could have gone that route. Maybe it was a 3 album set. I have it, but I'm too lazy to get up and check. But nonetheless, it was an enjoyable documentary. You know, I read somewhere that, McCartney's trying to make Wings fun again. And, Wings is part of McCartney's legacy. And, the first, I'll say 15 or 20 minutes of this documentary, I thought, that's my dog barking, by the way. I thought, McCartney, he did it right. He started out, he left the Beatles and he did this homegrown album where he recorded everything himself. And then the next album, according to him, I'm going to make a proper album, and he used some pretty top-notch musicians. And George Martin did some orchestration on it. And it was a nice full album. And then he formed his own band. But he formed this band that wasn't a super group that he could have easily done. But, and he could have easily just Paul McCartney. But he did Wings, and they all kind of, went and honed their, how would I want to say it? They went on the road in a bus, and they stopped by all these colleges and universities and in England, and said, hey, Paul's out there and he wants to know if he can play for you guys tomorrow night or tomorrow afternoon, do a lunch concert. And he just did this not out of ego, but out of humility almost. And I was pretty impressed by all that. It was just amazing how he really did start from scratch again, and he built this up to, the 1976 Wings tour that was just massive. And, but he went from playing in front of 400 people to, maybe 20,000 or 25,000. It was just amazing that he was able to do all that, or willing to do all that, because Paul McCartney could have done anything. So anyway, that's my scoop. That's my story. And please add more subscriptions. If you know people who haven't seen my videos, get them to subscribe. I'm at about 2,000, a little over 2,000. I really want to bump that up. And please add your comments. Okay? Because I want to know what you guys want to hear, what you like, whether it's the Beatles, it's McCartney, or the Beach Boys, or anything, even comic books. All right? So, take care, peace and love. No more autographs.